Well,
Well, it's getting insane because it's a way it's a technique in a certain sense, and my many of my listeners will recognize it as a very old one. It's a kind of Gnosticism. It's making believe that you can alter reality simply by pronouncing a magic formula. Oh, I'm a boy today, or I'm a girl today, or whatever. And what it's designed to do in the long run is so unhinge you from reality that you can no longer make any rational decision because you're not capable anymore of rational analysis of what's going on, because they're changing. They're, again, it's the process. The more they can accelerate the process, the more confused they make people, and you cannot react quickly enough to their changes. So it's another way of, in my opinion, just making people passive and irrational.
do you think that some sort of uprising is the only answer to this? That people taking up arms and charging the capital. What do you think could be the possible answer to this?
Well, I think, you know, I think that they are playing with fire. Let's put it that way. Because I think that they are ratcheting up frustration so bad, and they may be doing it deliberately or not. I don't know. But eventually, in these kinds of systems where you're running things in a way that is utterly out of touch with reality, um, inevitably the normal people just have had enough, and they will fight back at some point. But this is the problem, and I've warned everybody I talk to about this. Whenever you throw those kinds of dice, the best laid plans go right out the window almost immediately. Um, think of Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. It was a well worked out plan. The logistical part of the plan was calculated precisely, and they were almost victims of their own success in the way, so that Hitler thought he could fundamentally modify the plan and therefore the logistical supply support for the plan at the drop of a hat and change it up completely. And of course, the result was a mess, and thankfully it was a mess. But anytime you start talking those kinds of dice, lockdowns, martial law, civil war, revolution, no plan survives contact with the enemy. So Mr. Globaloni, think twice. All you militia types, think twice. Because it can get out of hand real fast.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be a very interesting future, to say the least, the next few years to see what plays out. Now, there's another aspect to this that I try to wrap my head around, and it's the whole occult aspect to it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
become more evident over the past few years. And, I argue with researchers over, do they really believe in this stuff, or is this just a form of culture creation, or is this they actually really doing rituals? I know the sex trafficking and satanic sex rituals. I know that that's real, but do these the people at the top, at the very top, do they really believe in this stuff? Or are they really performing these rituals and doing this occult stuff? Because we see on TV, on Netflix, especially the past few years, we've had a massive outbreak of like occult and witchcraft and Satanism normalization and all these shows coming out lately, and it's been pretty obvious agenda that they're trying to kind of like normalize the occult. But my question is why?
Well, the simple answer is that they're afraid of Christ. The complex answer is that I think that many of them start out thinking that this is all just kind of hokum, and they're going along with it because it's the trendy thing to do, and these other powerful people are into all of this bizarre stuff, so to be part of the set. But I do think at the top of the power pyramid. And we have to qualify that the top of the power pyramid is the middle managers of the whole picture. But at the top of the power pyramid, humanly speaking, I think that there is a very narrow circle of people that absolutely believe it. And they believe it because, in a certain sense, their magic works and they've seen it work. Um, this is something I think that at least my own studies have convinced me of, that there's always a certain kind of occult elite somewhere in operation. Um, a good, for example, for your listeners is to get a hold of two books on the Franklin scandal that rocked the first Shrub White House back in the late 1980s. This was a scandal that erupted in Omaha uh, around the Franklin Savings and Loan Credit Bureau, and it it literally did involve children and adolescents that were introduced into kind of a sex magic slavery circle that, once you get into it, was definitely nationwide. There's two books about it. One is by a senator and attorney for the state of Nebraska that actually was part of the state's investigation of it, and the other is a book by Nick Bryant that I can't remember the titles to either of these two books. One is called The Franklin Cover Up, and Bryant's book is something else. But when you read the affidavits, what I'm getting at here, when you read the affidavits of the people that were involved in that scandal, it was very clear that they were dealing with people that practiced these rituals, that practiced human sacrifice, and that genuinely believed that these practices gave them some sort of power. And the leader of this outfit was a powerful and rich man. So there's something to it. And as far as I'm concerned, that Franklin scandal's just the tip of the iceberg. um, we've had many scandals that I think are interconnected if you want to look at them a certain way.